Here is my recap on Dexter New Blood, Season 1, Episode 5, which is entitled Runaway. This marks the halfway point of the season by the end of the episode, and they do move the story forward pretty far with this particular episode, and it is my favorite episode of the season so far. At the beginning, you have a fallout between Dexter and Harrison as Dexter does confront Harrison directly about the knife that he had hidden in his room. That's when there's a big blowout and Harrison runs off. Well, as he's running off, he actually gets picked up by some friends, and his friends are calling him a hero and take him to a big party where Harrison actually gets wasted, takes a couple of things, and actually loses consciousness. And it looks like because they gave him Narcan or whatever it is, he actually ended up his heart probably stopped. And in this episode, Dexter decides to go on a rampage and wants to take out the people involved for his son getting sick. He's looking at this as revenge, and it's kind of funny, a couple of well, not funny in a way that it's hilarious, but just the fact that as he tries to go after a couple of individuals that were involved in supplying the drugs and getting the drugs to his son, that he can't do what he needs to do because the police start getting involved, and he realizes what it's like to live in a small town and not being able to get away with some of the stuff he could do in Miami. In this episode with this, we also had Dexter did end up taking out a drug dealer, and the police were right behind him by having the guy OD on his own. Well, Dexter killed him, but then made it look like he OD'd on his own stuff. So Dexter doesn't get to take credit for the kill, which probably works out pretty good for him because, you know, he gets to kill two birds with one stone. He gets to do the kill, and he doesn't have to have the focus on him, and nobody will know that he was there. We also have Angela, Dexter's girlfriend, who does end up going to this. Basically, it's a police convention where they're talking about patterns in crime in general, missing persons reports, that sort of a thing, killers. And the person giving the report there was actually Angel Batista from the Miami Police Department. And Angela does actually take time to sit with him because she's still looking for all the girls that are missing. And she decides to sit down with Batista, and they have a conversation. It was interesting how they brought him in from the regular show, and he was there just to talk at this conference, and he actually hits on her, which is pretty funny. But at the end, he talks. They're talking about her case and what she's trying to solve, and he talks to her about the Trinity killer in this case of this young detective Deborah Morgan, who actually ended up figuring out who Trinity was, and that she had a brother, and they were both killed during that hurricane, and that he had a son named Harrison, and that kind of perks her ears, which makes it sound very interesting because she knows Dexter's son is Harrison, which does cause her to go look at the end of the episode, and there's a big reveal at the end where she is printing out a thing with Dexter Morgan's obituary, and it is clearly who she knows as Jim Lindsay. So we're going to see what happens in the 6th episode. She's probably going to have to confront him over this, and Dexter's world is getting much smaller all of a sudden, and we're going to see where that goes. But we still have another storyline here. We have the whole thing with Kurt, who's taking the girls. And in this episode, he does end up taking a girl. I talked about this girl, needing a room, a place to stay, needed money from him in the previous episode. Well, he does end up capturing her, and he's going to do a hunt on her, but she wants nothing to do with it. She tries to lure him down into the cellar by taking her clothes off, and he gets really angry at this and then unlocks the thing and says, "You are free to go." And she doesn't want to go. She wants to fight him. She wants to take him out. And when she goes up there and she goes to try and take him out, he ends up having to shoot her through the eye and through the head, and she ends up dead right then and there, and he starts screaming about how she ruined everything. So we can see that Kurt has some kind of a pattern that he follows, that there's a purpose behind him killing these girls, and we don't know what's going on. So we're going to see what happens with him and with Angela and Dexter in these upcoming episodes, and Harrison. Harrison is definitely involved in all of this now at this point. So we're going to see what happens in episode 6. So I will have that recap up shortly. We will see you guys then. I do appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon.